Right, hey everyone, and welcome back to Cade's Comics. Today I'm showing you 5 books from 5 publishers. If you guys are a little bit stuck for what books to read next, then this video might just be for you, so stick around to the end so you know 5 new books. If this is your first time watching the channel, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe down below. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year, and I really think we can do it. If this is not your first time watching the channel, I really hope you enjoy this video like all the others. So I have my 5 books just here, and the publishers we're going to be looking at today are Image Comics, Marvel, DC, Aftershock, and Titan Books. First up is from Titan Books. This is Mark Millar's Superior. I read this the other day and it really reminded me of Shazam. Now, I'm not the world's biggest fan of Shazam. I haven't actually read any Shazam comics and I've only seen the first Shazam film, but this book is really interesting. Mark Millar is able to add a nuance to it that elevates it far beyond anything I've ever experienced with Shazam before. I actually put a poll out on my community tab. Make sure you're checking that out every day. I upload new polls, so if you guys want to vote on something like what's better, Shazam or Superior, make sure you're checking that out. So this book follows Simon, who's a 12-year-old boy imbued with Superior's powers. He's given the powers for a week and then told by a demon he can sell his soul to stay that way or not. It's a really fascinating book. Like I say, better than anything I've ever experienced from Shazam before. So if you're looking for a really self-contained superhero story and you're a fan of Shazam, or alternatively like me, you're not a fan of Shazam, this book might just be for you. Next up from DC, we have Superman Secret Identity. Again, similar to Superior, it's about a boy named Clark Kent. In Clark Kent's world, Superman is an actual hero that's on TV. Much like in our world, you've got films of Superman, comics, things like that. So when Clark Kent is named Clark Kent, everyone says to him, oh, you're named after Superman. But what happens when Clark Kent gets the powers of Superman? When I explain it like that, it really seems like it's not a very good premise, that it might not be written very well, but I can promise you that Kurt Busiek writes this so well. The 4 issues that this contains follow the entire life of Clark Kent. It's just a really well-written story. The artwork throughout is phenomenal. If you're looking for somewhere to start with Superman, then I would definitely recommend this. It doesn't lead into anything else. Nothing else comes before it. It's just a very good self-contained story again. And speaking of another self-contained story, this is from Aftershock Comics, The Man Who Fucked Up Time. I spoke about this briefly in my 5 recent reads, which you can check out up here. This is a time travel story that devolves into so much more. You follow our protagonist Sean throughout this as he tries to go back a week in time to make his life better, try and get the girl of his dreams, and then ultimately ends up making things far worse. Dinosaurs come back, Abraham Lincoln the 17th comes back. It's a really funny read, and it's pretty short. You can read it all in one go. Yeah, it's a great self-contained story, much like Superman Secret Identity and Superior. Nothing comes before it, nothing comes after it. As we reach the halfway point of this video, I just want to remind you guys, if you're enjoying it, make sure you hit like down below and consider subscribing so you never miss another video. And next up, we have 2 books that I've done individual reviews for, but first off, I'll talk about this one. This is Howard the Duck by Marvel Comics, and I know what you're thinking, Howard the Duck is a character I've never read. Why would I start reading him now? Well, this book is written by Chip Zdarsky, who has written things like Daredevil, Spider-Man Life Story, Sex Criminals, he was the artist on. He's done lots and lots of things that you'll know him for, and it's also got artwork by Joe Quinones. If you want to know a lot about this story, consider checking out my review of Howard the Duck up here. Like the other books I've already mentioned, this is a pretty self-contained story. Obviously you have the stuff from the 80s before, but this doesn't really follow that. This is a very self-contained story. Howard is just this character getting by while all this crazy stuff is happening around him. You can see on the cover here, you have Spider-Man, Captain Marvel, the Mighty Thor. Loads of other characters interact with Howard throughout this story. It is an omnibus, it collects the entire thing, but it's a pretty short one. I think I read this over the span of a couple days, and I really enjoyed it. And finally, we have the biggest book that I'm talking about today, and wouldn't you know it, it's another self-contained story. This is from Image Comics. It's Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. Kill or Be Killed. Again, I spoke about this in my review, which you can check out up here if you want to know a lot more about it. This follows Dylan, who is given the choice by a demon. Again, another demon in this after Superior. He's given the choice by a demon to either kill someone once a month in order to survive, or he can let himself be taken by this demon and die. And it follows the struggles that Dylan has with that. It follows the struggles he has with his own mortality. What's he going to do to go forward? I don't really want to talk about this too much because I don't want to spoil it. This is a great detective story. It's a great vigilante story. If you're a real big fan of Batman or just other superheroes in general and you're trying to branch out into more indie comics, I would highly recommend this. You really can't go wrong with it. So yeah, just a short video from me today to show you 5 books from 5 publishers that I've been reading, and I thought this might give you guys some books to put on your radar, or it might give you some books to consider if you've heard of them before. I always love to know if you guys have read anything recently that you would like to recommend to me. Please leave it down below in the comments and let me know. I've read some great books because of that, and I've heard about some great books because of that. Most recently I was recommended Gideon Falls and The Ice Cream Man after I did my top 5 horror comics, which you can check out up here, and those were 2 books I'd kind of heard of before but hadn't really considered checking out, and they're 2 books I'm definitely going to look at now. So yeah, if you guys want to leave me some recommendations down below, feel free. I always love checking them out and I love putting new books on my radar. But that does it for the end of this video, so thank you guys so much for watching if anyone is still watching, and I will talk to you all later. See you later guys.